The preseason poll is out, folks, for the Big 12 Conference. We're going to look at just how West Virginia stacks up with the best of them and the worst of them. We're going to look at every single Big 12 team, break it down right here on Mountaineer Moment. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. All right, welcome in, everybody, to episode number 56 of Mountaineer Moment. A fun one here today. We're going to look at every single team in the Big 12 Conference because basketball season is almost here, folks. Less than 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about college basketball games being played, and I couldn't be more excited than that. And, man, super pumped. I don't know if it has everything to do with the football team here at West Virginia and their lack of success this season, but I'm super pumped to be watching some basketball here soon. And again, this is Mountaineer Moment, episode number 56 of the podcast covering West Virginia football and basketball. My name's Troy. If you are new here, if maybe just, the fact that we're covering Big 12 brought you here, welcome. I want to invite you to subscribe, leave a comment. Love interacting with people in the comment section. Please subscribe, though. Seriously, it would help me tremendously, help you as well, so you can be in the know when we have new content coming your way. Several episodes dropping every single week, football and basketball. And again, super excited to just figure out even. This is the first year covering basketball here at Mountaineer Moment, though I have several years of experience covering the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers with a podcast I have been a part of for many, many, many years, and just excited to be able to talk about my favorite college basketball team, the Mountaineers. Favorite college program, obviously bleed gold and blue, born in Morgantown. But, as I live in Long Island, New York now. So this podcast, this little community we're building here, Mountaineer Moment, has kind of been, it's like a home away from home since I'm not in West Virginia, but able to interact with West Virginia fans and produce content that I love to produce, and we're proud of what we got here on the Mountaineer Moment. But again, if you're here and you're not a Mountaineer fan, you're just a fan of Big 12 basketball, a fan of one of these teams, we are going to talk about each one of the Big 12 teams briefly, and just a little bit of how West Virginia stacks up in comparison. So the Big 12 preseason poll was dropped a few days ago, and West Virginia was projected to finish 11th in the Big 12 Conference, which obviously, if you followed college basketball the last several years, Big 12 top-tier league, SEC, obviously been very good lately too. Big 10, making a move here too. But Big 12 is right up there with the best of them. Houston obviously going to the national championship last season, and coming up just short. Some other teams making some things happen in March Madness as well. But a deep league, a talented league, and obviously if you're projected to finish around 11th, or if you're projected to finish between 8 and 12 or so, you're looking at that. Those could be some bubble teams, obviously. So projected to be right in the thick of things down the stretch. We know obviously how that panned out last season with Mountaineers absolutely getting robbed. I'm a full-on believer that they were absolutely robbed of a bid in the NCAA tournament. Don't even get me started on that. North Carolina and that whole mess. But anyway, not even going to go there. I'm going to stop myself from going there because that's not what this episode is going to be about. So, again, projected whole new team. I mean, what do these preseason polls even indicate? Head coach Ross Hodge didn't even, as most coaches, right? You're not going to look at that and overanalyze. You got to come out and do your job. Every team has to come out and play well to earn the spot they're projected to be at, or to improve upon what people are saying about them. So a lot of unknown for this Mountaineer basketball program, because it's literally an entire new team and coaching staff and all of that. So, and around the Big 12, there are some cases that are similar to that of West Virginia, some cases that are not, where you bring back a lot of experience and, same coaching staff and, lots of starters. But again, West Virginia is not alone in the sense that they're trying to kind of just revamp, not revamp, trying to completely overhaul in one off season the look of a team. And West Virginia is doing it for another season, right? We saw that last season. Saw entirely new looks the previous years before too. And for West Virginia, can you do it again? Right? They didn't make March Madness last year, obviously, but they were very close, and it was a fun season, with some lows, but with lots of highs and lots of moments that brought you some fun. But can they completely gut and redo a whole new roster again and coaching staff and find success? Well, that's going to be determined through the course of this season. We're excited to see that happen. So what we're going to do for this is break down every team in the Big 12, all 16 teams in the Big 12, and we're going to go by. We're going to start with West Virginia. Just a little bit of notes on them. If you're here and you're not a West Virginia fan. And then we're going to go from the top where Houston's projected to win the league at number 1. So we'll start there and go down. But West Virginia coming in at 11, we know the story there. I kind of just described it to you. It's their 4th head coach in 4 years after Bob Huggins and then Josh Eilert. I'm not going to even say the other guy's name because I don't want to talk about him, who was here last year. And then now it's first year with the Mountaineers. Ross Hodge coming over from a couple years at North Texas, where he, his bread was buttered on defense with what he's able to do among the nation's leaders in defense there. And now he's coming to Morgantown and was able to recruit from the portal, I would say, on paper, successfully. For those that don't know, you got a Trace and Eaglestaff coming over from North Dakota State, and Honor Huff, the nation's leader in three-pointers made last season, averaged about 15 a game. Eaglestaff was like 18.5 a game. You got Brennan Laureate coming over from North Texas, and Jasper Floyd, who's also joining him, and Ross Hodge. All three of those guys coming over from North Texas who've proven to, or hoping to be a factor. They've obviously proven their games at that level and now looking to take a step up. Again, West Virginia's largely done it through mid-major, small major programs that they're hoping to see guys who can take that next step. Something else with West Virginia is that these guys are coming from winning programs. A lot of them, like whether they made the NCAA tournament or they made the NIT, made a deep run. Again, Honor Huff, Chattanooga, his team won the NIT last season, and he was obviously a major contributor in that. And, West Virginia has potential to make some noise. They got some guys that can really score, can really fill it up. And then Ross Hodge brings that defensive identity with him here to Morgantown as well. So I'm excited. As a Mountaineer fan, this is Mountaineer moment after all. I am excited about the potential for this team, excited to see them on the floor, excited to see all these veterans and these guys that are hungry to show that they do belong at the Big 12 level. And, if they can prove that they do, this could be a really, really strong season for West Virginia. All right, so that's the number 11 team picked in the Big 12 Conference preseason poll. Number 1, though, is Houston. Again, the national runner-up a year ago. Incredible number here. Houston 34-4 in Big 12 games the past 2 seasons. That's just insane because the Big 12 is very, very good. But 34-4, just taking care of business. Returned several key pieces to that team from a year ago. Milos Uzan, Emmanuel Sharp, and the reigning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, Joseph Tugler, is back. They added talented freshmen, several. Again, national title a season ago, and really good again this year. I mean, they're in the mix, obviously, for the Big 12 and further, right? Sampson looking to get that title because this is a team that certainly can compete for a national championship. The way they guard is relentless and swarming and annoying, right? If you're the opposing offense, the way they play defense, obviously, and then they've proven over the years to be able to go get guys that can really fill it up too. That's why they got over the hump in the sense that they did make it to the national title last season. because they had some guys that could really score it. And I think, again, they got a talented, deep roster. They're picked number one for a reason, and that's because they've got some real talent on this team and a very good head basketball coach. So Houston, really good, and as good as anybody in the country, no doubt about it. Second team picked in the AP, or not AP poll, second team picked in the Big 12 preseason poll is BYU. Obviously, the notable piece with them is this incoming freshman who may just be the number one pick in the NBA draft next year, AJ Dybonsa. And they also got Baylor transfer Rob Wright joining him, but Richie Saunders is back. He was, I think, the Big 12 most improved player last season. He averaged 16.5. They've got their center back, Kiba Kite, 7.5 per game, almost 8 rebounds per game. Obviously, you lose Igor, the talented point guard that they brought in from a season ago. But just a really, really good team. But they're just a really good team. This story is obviously the money that they spent to to get this 5-star freshman who figures to be a lottery pick, if not the number one pick in the draft. Again, you get Rob Wright from Baylor, who averaged 11.5 and 4.5 assists under Scott Drew last season, and they're picked near the top of the league, just behind Houston for a reason. And again, it's largely is going to depend on AJ Dybonsa and what he's able to do. Dybonsa, super talent. I am excited to watch him play on BYU, right? Of all places, he didn't go to Duke or Kansas or Kentucky. He went to BYU, and so kind of cool. Just saying. But look for BYU to take a run at Houston as far as the top of the Big 12 is concerned this coming season. All right, moving along. Number 3 in the Big 12 preseason poll is Texas Tech. The story there is JT Toppin, obviously reigning Big 12 Player of the Year. I saw a report that his NIL deal to come back was worth about $3 million, and he said yes. So 18 points a game for him last year, 9 rebounds. McCaslin did a really good job in the portal too. Similar to West Virginia in the sense as to where guys are coming from. Some of the transfers from smaller programs, but this is a team with legit, Big 12 title aspirations and beyond, and largely stemming from this JT Toppin, who is no doubt one of the top talents in the entire country last season, and now he's back for more, and if he got any better, man, this kid could be in contention for National Player of the Year. Forget the Big 12, National Player of the Year contention for him. So goes JT Toppin, so goes this team, and they certainly are hoping to make some noise this season. Picked 4th is Tommy Lloyd's Arizona Wildcats. Their best returning player is Jaden Bradley, a 6'3" guard who averaged over 12 points, 3 boards, 3 assists last season. For an Arizona team that ended up losing to Duke in the Sweet 16, a really great game. Caleb Love, he's not there anymore, but man, was he fun to watch during the NCAA tournament. And if you combine that, Jaden Bradley and a couple other returners with a really, really impressive freshman class coming in, a couple of 5-stars that were ranked in the top 15 as far as recruits were concerned. And you got an Arizona team that's going to look to make a run at the Sweet 16 and beyond again. Again, they're picked 4th in the Big 12 for a reason. Tommy Lloyd, great coach, and between what they return, what they're able to pick up, and what they have coming in as freshmen, this is a team that's really good. Fifthly is the Iowa State Cyclones, who should be elite again defensively, as they often are, but their biggest thing that sticks out is they're replacing over 30 points a game by losing Curtis Jones and Keyshawn Gilbert. Obviously, Tamin Lipsey and a few others are back that help them, again, keep that defensive identity, but replacing 30 points a game is no slouch, right? Not an easy fixture. But, yeah, Iowa State, obviously, that arena, one of the most difficult places to play in the entire country. And, you can bet that they're going to be competitive, to say the very least, in the Big 12 this season, despite losing some offensive production. Number 6 is Kansas, and it's pretty wild to say that Kansas is number 6, considering of what the tear that they've been on over the last 20-plus years. Darren Peterson is another guy like the guy we mentioned from BYU, likely a one-and-done guy, projected to be one of the top picks in the draft next year. The story with Kansas is this is a season they're looking to bounce back because they entered last season 24-25 as the number 1 team in the country, and then they ended up losing 13 games. So that was the most ever in the Bill Self era, and they're looking to right the ship. They're looking to bounce back, right? 6 isn't even a familiar territory for them when it comes to Big 12 preseason and postseason standings, right? That's just not the Kansas way. And so Peterson, obviously the guy, returned some players, and obviously Kansas able to replenish what they lost and to do that well. And Bill Self's a good coach, and so who knows? Maybe the lower expectations or not so high of expectations of being the number 1 team in the country and expected to win the Big 12 every year. Maybe that's going to do something different in a good way for Kansas this season. We shall see. But the Kansas Jayhawks coming at number 6 in the preseason poll. We're getting toward halfway. Again, 16 teams. Number 7 is Baylor. And this is picture-perfect transfer portal era here, kind of like West Virginia too. Baylor doesn't return nobody from last season, and so Scott Drew, it's back to the drawing board. Looking to continue to make the NCAA tournament like they do every single year. They do have a 5-star freshman coming in who again is like another run and done guy that they figured to have. One of the top transfer portal classes in the nation for Baylor and Scott Drew. So though they lost everybody, they bring some really considerable talent into Scott Drew and this team, and Scott Drew's a great coach. Baylor's obviously a good program as of late, and obviously even the Big 12 poll and the voters here for a team that lost everything, you're picking them 7 in the conference, speaks highly to the kind of talent that they have coming in. Number 8 on the list is Cincinnati. Cincinnati, some people are saying this could be Wes Miller's best team at Cincinnati, and they did lose Jizzle James, who was dismissed from the program back in August. He was their team's leading scorer last season, so that's a bit of an ouch, but they returned some pieces. Day Thomas, who averaged about 10 points a game, and they add some pieces from the portal that might sound familiar to Mountaineer Nation. Kerr Kriisa is there in Cincinnati, and so is Sincere Harris, who was here last year under the previous coaching staff. But Sincere Harris, incredible defender. Kerr Kriisa, we know what he can do, shooting the ball, and really good point guard as well, facilitator. So 2 former Mountaineers, although at different times, are, again, transfer portal era, are teaming up with the Cincinnati Bearcats, who are picked around, again, that middle-of-the-pack spot in the Big 12, which is, teams that have aspirations, no doubt about it, to reach the NCAA tournament. And so keep an eye out for Cincinnati and keep an eye out for those former Mountaineers and what they do, the kind of season they have under Wes Miller coming up in 2025-26. All right, the back half of the league officially, 1 through 8 is done, 9 through 16. So Kansas State comes in at the number 9 spot. Jerome Tang, reportedly a top 5 transfer portal class and the best in the Big 12 as they're looking to make the NCAA tournament. That is due in large part, that transfer portal class is due in large part to one of the most coveted pieces of the portal. It was P.J. Haggerty, second-team All-American at Memphis last season, averaged nearly 22 points a game, 6 boards, 4 assists. Helped them win the American Conference, and he was Player of the Year, of course. But he's a good get, and again, I think everybody in the nation would have wanted him. I'm big on P.J. Haggerty, and he's at K-State now with Jerome Tang, looking to be that team's leader to get them back to the NCAA tournament. Again, projected to be, here we are in October, thinking about March, but projected to be in that bubble range, if you could say it that way, for the Big 12. Number 10 is TCU, coached by Jamie Dixon, looking to get back to the NCAA tournament. They had an offense last season. Mountaineers played them. An offense that struggled at times, and that was kind of their Achilles heel as to why they didn't make the tournament. Right on that bubble, though, sort of, through most of conference play. They did add Jaden Pierre, a guard who averaged 12 points a game at Providence last season, and then Brock Harding, a 6-foot guard from Iowa, who averaged 8, almost 9 points a game while shooting about 40% from 3. So they brought in some new tools to the roster. Again, not necessarily a complete overhaul there, but brought in some pieces, a couple guards that they're looking to hopefully lend to more scoring for this TCU team. So again, 11, West Virginia. I already touched on them, but you can see how they're kind of stacking up compared to the rest of the league. And I'll come back to more of my thoughts on West Virginia and the rest of the league here after we go through these last few. So number 12 is Oklahoma State. They added 7 transfers via the transfer portal. One of those is Anthony Roy, who's a guard from Green Bay. He got injured in December of last season, but at that point, he was averaging 25.7 points a game. He's here now. Isaiah Coleman from Seton Hall, another offensive weapon, averaged about 16 points a game for them. He's at Oklahoma State, so they're looking to turn things around for that program, and again, added some portal pieces in hopes of doing that. The Utah Utes come in at number 13. Alex Jensen spent the last 12 seasons as an assistant, but now he's back at his alma mater, assistant in the NBA with the Utah Jazz and Dallas Mavericks, but now he's back at his alma mater in Utah, and they're doing it all in the portal. They're another one of those teams like Baylor, West Virginia. Utah is trying to get it done in the transfer portal, and obviously the stage is set, right? Like, we're here, season's here. We'll have to see how these teams stack up when it comes to, on paper versus what we see with our eyes on the court as the season gets going here in a couple weeks. Number 14, the UCF Knights, who picked up a pair of Milwaukee transfers that combined for about 28 points, 14 boards, and 7.5 assists for a team that finished second in the Horizon. Dawkins is facing a little bit of pressure to get the job done because it's been a rough stretch for UCF, not able to get over the hump, not able to get in contention for NCAA tournament, things like that last couple years. So they are hoping that this pair of Milwaukee transfers can help turn the tide at UCF, picked 14th in the league. All right, last couple here. Number 15 is Colorado. Colorado, only Big 12 team ranked out. I just read this, ranked outside of the top 75 in KenPom. They went 3-17 in conference play last season. Colorado lost their top 2 scorers. They added, several mid-major pieces. They returned a bunch of role players as well. But 3-17 in conference last year, and dead last in the conference, picked to finish 15 here. And obviously, it would take something unexpected for them to not be among the league's worst teams here in 2025-2026. Last but not least is Bobby Hurley, And his Arizona State team, he's entering his 11th season with Arizona State. And they went 4-16, so not much better than Colorado last year, 4-16 in conference play. And they added a few guys via the transfer portal that they're looking to make some things happen, make some splashes, and kind of, I guess you could say took a page out of West Virginia's book in that regard, bringing some guys from other schools that aren't power conference schools. No blue bloods here that they're picking up at Arizona State, but Mo Odom, who played at Pepperdine last year, averaged 13 points, 7.5 assists. Pretty impressive there. They got Marcus Adams Jr., who played last season, averaging 16 points, 5 boards for Cal State Northridge in the Big West. And so keep an eye on those two pieces, looking to help turn the tide with Bobby Hurley in Arizona State. So we'll see. That's an ASU program that's made the tournament 3 of the last 6 seasons. But again, here it looks like this year, again, if things go according to what it's supposed to be, and they never do, but it looks like he may be on the hot seat moving forward. I don't know. But 3 out of 6 NCAA tournaments, and it would take a lot for them to reach it this year based on what this roster is looking like. So that's 1 through 16. Again, the tops of the league: Houston, BYU, Texas Tech, Arizona, Iowa State, Kansas, Baylor, 7, Cincinnati, K-State, TCU, West Virginia, 11, Oklahoma State, Utah, UCF, Colorado, and Arizona State. And that is the Big 12 Conference. Again, one of the nation's top conferences, and that's just a couple real quick, right? Rundown about a few players and where they're at and what these teams are made of, how many transfer portal additions did they have to make in order to fill a roster, how many guys are returning to some of these teams, how many incoming freshmen are looking to have a big impact. We named a few, obviously BYU and Kansas and Baylor and Houston, and Arizona as well, teams that really recruit well. Again, no surprise with those teams that I just rattled off, but incoming freshmen looking to make an impact. I will say now, as again, focus on West Virginia again for just a moment as we finish, I would say that after kind of doing my research a little bit, and obviously I knew, many of these pieces with PJ Haggerty and, what BYU's got going on, Houston obviously doing their thing, Baylor having to completely overhaul and fix things up, and obviously knowing West Virginia's situation. But, I look around the Big 12, and I think I got a little more, again, not that I'm lacking confidence at all in West Virginia's team and Ross Hodge, but I felt a little bit better after kind of looking around the Big 12 and just saying, because it's daunting, or at least, if you told me 7-8 years ago, yep, it's a new coach, new coaching staff, and by the way, you got 15 new players coming in to fill a basketball roster, I'd be like, you're nuts, one, and I would think, there's no way that that's going to be able to come together for anything good. Even if you had a decently talented pieces, that just sounds like too much to be able to make an NCAA tournament, to be able to compete at a high level in the Big 12, however you want to describe it, several years ago before the transfer portal. Think about it, right? Would you be there too? I would be like, all right, this isn't good. But now with the transfer portal, West Virginia is not alone. A lot of these teams, now again, some of these teams are doing it via 5-star freshmen coming in that are going to be one and done, and that's how they're retooling. West Virginia is not doing that. But there's other teams that are in similar situations to West Virginia, and those aren't bad teams. Right, because we could be sitting here saying, well, West Virginia, this is not good because of this, that, and the other thing. But they're in the same boat as Colorado and Arizona State. You know what I mean? And I don't think they are. I legitimately don't think they are. I think they're better than those teams. I think, I'm not going to sit here and say whether 11 was fair or unfair again, because it's so hard, and a whole new team. A lot of these teams are new teams and figuring things out, and how are they going to gel, how quickly they're going to gel, what's it going to look like in conference play, which team's going to have some injuries and other factors that are going to impact them. We just don't know. It's unpredictable. But looking around the Big 12, again, there were some things we already knew. Houston knew that. Knew they'd be among the nation's best teams this year and are supposed, projected to be. Knew BYU with what they were able to do. Obviously getting the talented freshman that's likely going to be the number one pick in the draft. Knew that. Knew JT Toppin coming back would have Texas Tech in decent shape. Knew there were some questions regarding Iowa State's offense after losing a couple of their key scorers. Knew Arizona was going to be looking to rebuild a little bit with Caleb Love and a few others gone, but they obviously had some incoming freshmen come in. Knew Kansas was looking to try and bounce back. Knew Baylor had to retool their roster. Knew Cincinnati was hopeful, but they lose Jizzle James, and that's causing a little bit of a stir there. Knew Kansas State was trying to get back, and they got PJ Haggerty to help them get there. Knew TCU had offensive struggles last season, and then it comes. That's the first 10 teams I just routed off, and then there's West Virginia, and so again, the teams behind you. Not that one of those teams might not shock the world or anything like that, because they could, But you look at these teams in front of you, and I don't know. Outside of, every team's got to prove something. But, West Virginia could be in the mix with some of those teams that I just said. Right? Look at the teams just ahead of them. TCU, Kansas State. Neither of those teams made the tournament last year. Cincinnati. West Virginia handled them well last year. Again, it's, talk about completely different, right? Literally completely different teams, but, it's not Houston. Cincinnati's not Houston. Baylor's not Houston even. And they have a whole new look team. So, what's that going to look like? So, the reason I kind of just say that quickly is because, I feel pretty good. Because we're not the only ones trying to find an identity. We're not the only ones with revamped rosters. We're not the only ones with question marks. In the new era of college basketball, even if you have roster turnover every year, there's only 16 teams in the Big 12, right? We're not even alone in 16 teams. Forget hundreds of teams that are in the NCAA, right? This just helps me feel like we're not alone. West Virginia's not alone. And they've got talent. West Virginia's got some talent, man. I'm so excited for 2 weeks from now to see this talent showcased. I'm excited for the veterans to come out again from other places, senior leaders that are going to come and make a difference, make an impact. It's a good team, and I feel good about it, and I think we all should. Again, if the concern is, well, they're mid-major players trying to take the jump to the Big 12, well, yeah, they are, but guys do that. It's not as big of a jump as it is from going from a smaller college football program, right? Guys make that jump every single year and have an impact. The only difference is, where a Kansas or a Houston or Texas Tech, one of those teams that's replenishes well every year, with freshmen and even roster retention. They do bring in guys from smaller programs. Every team does it. The only difference is sometimes, again, a Kansas, a Texas Tech, a Houston, they're only looking for one, maybe two guys that come from those programs to really help them play well, right? Because everybody else is coming, either on Kansas or coming from other power conference schools. West Virginia, the only difference is you don't need one or two guys from these smaller conferences to play well. You need your whole roster to play well that are coming from these places. And it's possible. It's possible. All these guys have played tough competition. It's not night in, night out in the Big 12, and they're going to experience that and adapt to that and hopefully play well through it. But all these guys have played college basketball. All these guys have played winning college basketball. Said it earlier, right? Honor Huff won the NIT. Brennan Lorient and Jasper Floyd, while at North Texas with Coach Hodge. made the NCAA, or they made the NIT. Excuse me, I was looking at something. They made the NIT. They went 24-8 last year. You have, I'm going to just read off some of the other names. Chance Moore. There may not be an episode coming on him in just a little bit. Just talking about him and what he brings to the table. But Chance Moore at St. Bonaventure helped them on a 22-12 team. It's a good team. Jackson Fields made the NCAA tournament last year at Troy. Played against Kentucky. Had 7 points and 7 rebounds in 28 minutes in the NCAA tournament. Dude made the NCAA tournament. Harlan Obioha, the 7-foot center, made the NCAA tournament. Played against Texas Tech. Had 7 points and 9 rebounds. So these guys have winning in their background, and I think that means something. They've played good teams, too. Like, they NCAA tournament. Kentucky and Texas Tech, right? Like, they've played good teams. And they're veterans. They're grown men. So I'm excited. I think, I don't know. Is it 18 wins? Is it 19 wins? Is it 21 wins? Is it 24 wins? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to do that. But I think this team's capable of more than an 11th place finish in the Big 12. I think this team is capable of finishing the top half of the Big 12. I just do. And part of that's due to, like, okay, I've looked at some other teams, and they got some issues, and they got some struggles, and they got some things they're trying to figure out, just like we do. So let's go, right? Like, that's how I feel. But yeah, we've kind of gone a little long on this one, but it's been fun just to analyze the Big 12 and these teams and what they bring to the table and talk about it. And we're going to leave it at that. So this is another episode. What did I even say? 50 something. This is episode 56 of Mountaineer Moment. Another installment talking about the basketball team. We'll have a few more even before the start of the basketball season for the Mountaineers, tipping off early November. Mount St. Mary's coming to the Hope Coliseum. We'll talk about that as well. And looking forward to basketball season and all sorts of coverage I'm going to provide here on Mountaineer Moment. So with that being said, like, come on, join the moment, join the movement, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Let's go Mountaineers.